And then one more boring little step for the icing on the cake. This is the triangulation. This is the real explosion, even though you don't feel it. This is the triangulation of that in normal Earth time. So it's not only beyond time, but it can be brought all the way back. See, and then in that implementation, it also yields like a door or a threshold or however you really want to assume it. But in a sense, the problem, so to speak, is completely neutralized. There's nothing even negotiable about the totality of what it's talking about. And then that's what I've been doing the whole time, for instance, solving for every issue possibly left whenever it became a static number. That was implementation of pi and whatever else. So there's way more shit in there that you can get into, and you can end up damn near anywhere. But for the purpose of the context that produced it, in a sense, a military application of intuition, that's exactly the yield, and then that's how it turned out. And that's the same thing that it made and whatever, etc. But it's all completely sorted, it's in ratio. But those last two groups of numbers, that's really cool. Because you can twist. It starts to go through gradients. Like, do I have a problem? It's like a lens, but it's not. It's like it's like a knife, I was going to say. It cuts through it, but because the lens kind of makes things blurry. This is like a little bit, it's like a laser almost, but it doesn't look like that. It can do only one thing, so to speak, but it's like the dead end of the dead end and all of that, and but the problem's static at its best, so to speak, in terminology of the worst, but basically it collapses itself because if you're transcending it, it's not growing. If it's not growing, then it's being ripped apart. If it's being ripped apart, it's so infinitesimal that it's not even part of anything. And then on top of that, what is that infinitesality to the degree that it is, such that it doesn't wander in even as itself an echo to whatever it is your situation. Is determined, is isolated. So it puts the contaminant in its place as the contaminant. And that's in terminology of the infinite. So in a sense, total access to eternity. And you can keep turning that around and stuff because, you know, the dimensions are practically unlimited. Although we can only get to maybe about 14 or so locally. Our solar system and stuff like that. That's the duration of a sense the human experience, particularly the negative part of it. And so all of those energies accessible to you. You don't have to do any work. You just basically have to look at the numbers, and it puts you right where you're supposed to be, sort of thing. But what those numbers were, that's pretty cool. It is what it is and whatever else, but that's kind of cool.